A new day, a new episode. Welcome to Career Growth. Today, we will discuss something which is an important part and an integral part of every student and professional lives to begin their life, and that is the resume. Conventionally, resume was known as biodata, short form for biographical data. But today, you see a lot of students, working professionals using the term resume. So let's first begin with the beginning. Is there a difference between what a resume, a biodata and a CV is? Biodata is a conventional term for today's resume, which has all the exact details and the contents of a resume. CV, which means curriculum vitae, is generally used by professionals who come either from an academic background or people or professionals who've actually done a lot of research, a lot of paper presentations. So if you are one of those professionals who's into academics or who has made a lot of paper presentations and a lot of research, ensure that you use the term CV. Now coming to our topic of resume. A resume is a short 1 or 2 page document which a student who's applying for further studies or a potential employee who's looking for employment generally prepares. So basically, resume is the document which reaches your potential employer or the institute where you're applying to first. So this is the document which is actually the key for you to get an interview call or probably get selected for an interview call with an institute for a particular course. Please be aware that you put the right foot forward with making the right resume and avoiding a lot of mistakes. That's what today we will be discussing. So what exactly are the contents of this resume? The resume will generally, obviously, have your name, your contact details. Please remember that you mention your current email ID and the phone that is in use. Many a times we do come across email IDs which are redundant or phone numbers that were changed. So keep that in mind. You always ensure that you give your in-use email ID or phone number. Followed by something which is very interesting to read as a potential employer, that is your career objective. A lot of students make the career objective either very vague or too verbose or too jargonized or create an impression of the kind of person that I actually am looking forward to employ. But identify, is that the true you? Make a career objective which is actually your objective and not copy pasted from somewhere. So that is something you have to remember while writing a career objective. Simple, honest, truthful, and which will ensure or create an element of curiosity in the minds of the HR professional or the person who is interviewing you for the course as to what exactly is this person going to offer. If you're a student, you have to remember, following the career objective, you will have to mention your academic qualification, and that too in a reverse chronological order. Simply means you put your latest and current educational qualification first and then follow it up with the remaining. This is what will go in a fresher's resume. But if you're a working professional who has decent amount or at least a work experience of more than 1 year, ensure that you start with your work experience. In the work experience, ensure that you mention your current employer's name, the designation and the profile that you handle. If you have multiple jobs, the rule remains the same, reverse chronological order of the work experience as well. Once you are done with this, ensure you mention achievements and quantify your achievements. Don't just mention stood first. Mention stood first at which level, amongst how many. So always quantify your achievements, which generally follows either your academic qualifications or your work experience. If you're a fresher, if you're a student, you also need to add on your extracurricular activities, academic projects that you have undertaken, and for academic projects, ensure that you write the details of the project. What was the title of the project? What were the findings or observations? You probably would have done some work there, so you need to mention that as well. Do not forget to add the extracurricular activities or any kind of volunteer work that you have done. Given the fact that today people are looking at more socially responsible people and professionals, this will be an added value and advantage to your resume. Make it as crisp as possible, as relevant as possible to the industry, to the sector, the job profile, or the institute or the course that you're applying to. Be a little aware of what you're actually putting on to the resume, because people will be reading that and then deciding whether to meet you or not. So be aware of all these things. Following which, ensure you have your personal details. We generally have your date of birth, your marital status, interests, hobbies, all these things. If you are going to mention the place, the date, updated with the recent one. While mentioning your interest and hobbies, ensure that you make them specific. Do not write generic something like love to read or love to listen to music. Make it specific so that we know that we are going to meet a person who is actually aware about what he likes and dislikes. So this in short is how your resume would look like. Let's come to the last part, which is certain basic tips you have to remember while drafting a resume. Keep it simple and honest. Do not make it too verbose or jargonized, which a lot of people love to do. Check your language skills also and accordingly start using the language on the resume too. Along with that, do not use too much ornamental or decorative fonts. Keep it simple and legible. Do not use a crumpled or a yellow paper, or do not just keep on photocopying. Generally, you get those black marks on the paper, so try to avoid a lot of photocopies of the resumes. While you are drafting your details, ensure you give the right information, considering the fact that background information check is on the rise. Do not add any kind of unnecessary information. Keep it short, keep it simple, and enough space to create a curiosity in the employer's mind that they want to meet you. Remember, this is just the key to that door. So keep watching, keep subscribing, and like Career Growth.